Why play Dr Mundo Jungle? Well, he clears the jungle quickly and healthily. He is incredibly tanky, he's also surprisingly mobile, and he scales into a late game unkillable beast. However, he is skill shot reliant to stick to a champion, so he can get kited. And heal reduction will reduce a good amount of his tankiness. Mundo's passive allows him to ignore the first immobilizing effect that hits him. When he gets hit by this CC, he loses a chunk of health and drops a canister on the floor instead. He can then pick up this canister to reduce the cooldown of this passive and restore a larger chunk of health. Mundo also has a second passive where he gets a massive amount of additional health regen. Mundo's Q is a straight line skill shot which deals current health damage and slows. Dealing current health damage means against full health enemies this does insane damage. This ability costs health to use, but you heal back all of it if the cleaver hits. And honestly, it's such a small amount of health you're not going to notice it either way. Mundo's W creates a small circle around him which deals damage to all enemies nearby. In addition, he stores a large chunk of the damage he takes while this is active as grey health. He can then recast this to deal a large chunk of damage to nearby enemies, and if it hits at least one enemy champion he restores all the grey health, otherwise he simply restores half the grey health. Mundo's E has a passive where he gains AD scaling with his maximum health. The active is an auto attack reset which makes his next attack deal bonus damage scaling with his missing health. If the enemy hit by this is killed, he swats them away, dealing damage in a line through enemies they pass through. Mundo's ultimate is a massive buff which causes him to instantly regain a large amount of his missing health as maximum health. He heals a massive amount more health over 10 seconds and gets a large speed up. And when the ultimate is fully leveled up, all the healing is increased a good chunk per nearby enemy champion. For combos, it really is just landing your cleaver into using W when in range. Follow up with an auto attack into E before spamming away with attacks and cleavers. For matchups, Mundo can be punished by some early game junglers or ones which can easily peel you, and he does well into junglers who he can easily outscale and chase down. For runes, take this. Fleet footwork is brilliant, and in your secondary tree, approach velocity is broken, with you getting additional movement speed towards champions tagged with your cleaver. For build orders, start green monster and pot into heart steel and tier 2 boots. After this, a sunfire and spirit visage are great pickups before finishing a build with any of these as needed. For skill orders, start Q then E then W before maxing Q then E then W, taking ult whenever you can. For summoner spells, take ghost and smite. Starting the game, your clear is relatively fast and you do stay healthy during it, so a full clear is almost always your go-to. With this, when Scuttle Crab spawns, you'll be level 4 and incredibly healthy, ready to claim the gold and advantage, putting you in a great space to contest this if needed. After this, you can either back and keep farming to scale, or you can look for a gank. As always, consider the 3 main points of what CC does your team bring, what escapes do your enemy have, and where is the lane pushed to when considering which lane to gank. When ganking, as you don't bring hard CC yourself, it's often best to prioritize a lane that brings it for you. But regardless of everything else, landing that first cleaver is going to be crucial. Being able to slow them while speeding yourself up just makes you far more likely to get the kill. But of course, due to your ganks being unreliable, don't feel like you have to force them, and often counter ganking a lane is best. This is where you farm on the side of one of your lanes which is overextended, waiting for them to get ganked, and after your opponent has burned all their cooldowns to overextend, you go in for the kills. Entering the mid game, you are the jungler, so your main objective is going to be on skirmishing with your team, looking for picks and converting these into objectives. Keep farming hard, securing vision and grouping as needed. Entering late game teamfights, either play the tanky front line, letting nothing pass to your backline, or play as the tanky engage, diving straight onto their backline. Use your ultimate after taking a little bit of damage for maximum value. Activate your W, then spam out E's and Q's.